Hi, everyone! And to answer the questions, since when is there an opening? Like hell if I know. I think that's just something new. Okay, good. That's set correctly. That the mod team finally put in. And as to who all those people are, I believe most of them are just characters we know in different art styles. You probably have seen them before, just in a completely different art style that makes them look different. Okay. So yeah, the modders have been, when I downloaded this, the modders had been pretty busy getting things together. So you know. So we are up to Himatsubushi, for you, the final mystery, the time-killing chapter. I now entrust you with all the mysteries hidden within Higurashi when they cry. However comical it may be, if you have reached any conjecture, then you have passed. The final novel is a meager reward for you. Conjecture is impossible, and you have the right to reject the story. And reject it I probably will. And it's going to laugh at us. Told you. Who is the criminal, you ask? With many, many other questions after it. So we're back to midsummer, but 1985. I had misread the time and ended up arriving too early. The schedule board flipped with a series of clacks. My flight to Sapporo was still a bit later on. I had over an hour before boarding. Well, I might as well close my eyes for a bit on that bench over there, then. I came here directly from work, so maybe the fatigue from that was making me sleepy. Finding a suitable bench, I put my luggage down on the seat next to me and settled down. So meet new character number 1, Akasaka. I sighed like an old man. I'd hoped to stay young forever, but had become splendidly middle-aged. Apparently the rumor that even people in the latter half of their 20s experience a decline in their physical strength wasn't a lie. It had been mind-numbingly busy at work lately, so I rarely had any time to myself. This might have been the first time I've been able to enjoy a journey alone like this since I was a student. The reason behind this trip was to meet with an old friend. And does he have an IQ higher than 20? I don't know. I do not know. We will find out in time, I guess. It was a bit strange to call him an old friend. In fact, it might be better to call him a bad one. After retiring a couple of years ago, he moved to Sapporo, his mother's hometown. His mother passed away soon after, and he was now peacefully enjoying his second lease on life. His name was Kurado Oishi. Okay, he calls Oishi a bad friend that he's meeting, and he's not quite sure why. So he gets points added to the IQ and points taken away from the IQ, so it kind of balances out here. He was a former detective from the primary investigation unit that's stationed in Okonomiya, X Prefecture. To be honest, the only direct contact we ever had didn't last more than 3 days. After that, we exchanged New Year's cards, but never met again. So this would be the first time in meeting him in 7 years, which places you back here in 1978. Yeah, right around that point in time. In other words, we met 7 years ago. There was just something I had to ask, to talk to him about concerning that time. To explain that it was impossible not to recall the incident that happened back then. That kidnapping, the details and resolution of which were resigned to darkness. Also, it was impossible not to recall a certain mysterious girl. My name is Mamoru Akasaka. It was a year that had been strangely hot, even though it was only June. But for once, we did not begin the story in 1983 with Keiichi.
はい、さようなら。車に気をつけるんですよ。お友達の家に寄り道なんかしないように。明日の教科書の準備は必ず寝る前にしておくんですよ。
And clattering happens. The lively sounds of children running towards the hallway.
でさ、つってんだぜ。そんなの俺持ってるわよ。
People doing trading cards, I guess.
いらねえよ。
The unique, high-pitched voice of youth. The energetic shrill of the cicadas went completely unheard by their ears. Oh, they're safe then. Children returning home from school split off one by one from their groups of friends as they went through intersections in the residential area. Even though there were several of them in a group as they left the school, as they got closer to their homes, their numbers dwindled. That's why the fewer friends you were walking home with acted as an indicator that you were that much closer to your destination.
じゃあな。会うわよ。また明日ね。
He finally parted ways with his last friend. A van was parked at a bend in the road. The window was open, the sound of the radio leaking outside. It must have been in the news or something.
したため、道路交通法違反、公務執行妨害で3名を逮捕しました。 一連のひなみ沢ダム建設反対をめぐる運動は先月の機動隊との流血事件を境に過激化の一途をたどっており、警察では過激な活動家による次の事件を警戒しています。先週も建設省庁舎前での犬飼建設大臣への直訴事件があったばかりで、
The boy's ears perked up at the mention of the name Inugai. At that moment, a man's face peeked out suddenly from the window of the van. His behavior was a little different than that of a man looking around to see if there's any incoming traffic before he opened the door of his vehicle. His eyes meeting suddenly with the unfamiliar man, the boy panicked slightly.
Uguis OK.
Yeah, this is 1978, so we're in the middle of the whole dam project going to hell.
ひばり OK。 前後2ブロック確保した。いいぞ。
The man in the passenger seat whispered quietly. Nodding in acknowledgement, the man opened the door and stood before the boy.
君、犬飼俊樹君?
While asking that, the man peered at the boy's name tag. Toshiki Inugai. The name was plainly written there. The phone rang for a third time. If he reached out, he could easily pick up the receiver. However, he was concerned that if he picked it up before it even finished ringing once, whoever was on the other end of the line would think him a fairly cheap person. That's why he'd normally never picked up the phone until the third ring. Even he thought it was a worthless habit. However, his thinking that there isn't much meaning in waiting for just 3 rings, wouldn't waiting for 5 be alright, was very much reality. His mind filled with such trifling thoughts, he picked up the phone after the third ring had finished, its reverb dampened by his action.
はい。もしもし。もしもし。
He knew that sometimes, due to a malfunction at the switchboard, calls didn't connect well. At those times, it was best to hang up and let the person on the other end call again. Thinking that, the moment he began to hang up the phone, he sensed that he was definitely connected after all. He felt the presence of the person on the other end of the line, keeping silent.
もしもし。
There was no way they didn't hear his question. What was the meaning of this? It wasn't like he didn't know that people could use silent calls to harass others. However, he'd never received a call like that until today. Maybe he was just lucky before, but he didn't believe that he would receive such a call on this phone. There were no direct calls to or from this line. Everything had to go through an operator. Therefore, there was absolutely no way the call could be connected unless it was verified there was somebody else on the other end of the line. That's why he didn't understand how to deal with the silent call, and instead settled into confusion.
あんた、誰だか知らないが、用がないなら切るよ。また、かけ直してください。
Intending that to be a parting line, he made to slam down the receiver. It was that moment the person on the other end spoke for the first time.
あなたが名乗ってくれないから困ってんですよ。あんたが犬飼大臣じゃないなら、さっさと電話を切ってください。
He couldn't help but be surprised by the extremely strange voice on the other end of the line. Was there a human alive who could speak with this hoarse and metallic voice? No, this was a voice he'd heard somewhere before. It was the kind of voice that was on those lowbrow documentaries that they'd use when they wanted to hide the identity of a speaker, wasn't it? The voice he was hearing over the line was exactly like that.
あんた、誰？
だから、それはこっちが聞いてるんですよ。あんた、犬飼大臣じゃないの？
He, Inugai, hesitated to answer. Unable to discern the intent of this suspicious phone call, he had a vague feeling that something was off. He thought about hanging up the phone and asking the operator who initiated the call. However, he forced himself to restrain that urge, and for the time being, chose to state his name and listen.
そうです。犬飼です。名乗りましたよ。 だからあんたも名乗ってくださいよ。
私の名前なんてどうでもいい。
Music is kind of drowning things out, isn't it?
Aなたがどういう立場に置かれているか、それを認識するところから始めましょう。あなたは今、自分の席で電話をしていますね。では、あなたの席の右側の一番下の引き出しを開けてみてください。
The lowest drawer to the right of the minister's chair. There was a lock on it. Not enough to function as a safe, but nevertheless it was a drawer that contained some valuable things. That's why Inagai thought that the person wanted some of the important information contained within that drawer.
すまんが開けるつもりはないよ。自分の名前も名乗れんやつの言いなりになる言われはない。
引き出しを開けてくれないなら、この電話を切ります。きっと後悔することになりますよ。まずは引き出しを開けてから考えてもいいんじゃないですか。
Inagai didn't like following orders from the suspicious person one bit. However, he was concerned about what the man said about regretting it, so he decided to open the drawer. He took the small key he kept stowed in his wallet and unlocked the drawer. His hand stopped right before he opened it. What if there was a bomb inside and it would explode if the drawer was opened? That delusion took hold of him. He quelled that instinct and opened it.
開けてくれましたか？そこにあるものが何かわかりますよね。
これはどういうことだ？おい。
どういうことか説明する必要なんかないですよね。時間を差し上げますので、少しお考えください。また後ほどこちらから連絡いたします。それでは失礼。
おい待て。もしもし？もしもし？
The call had already ended. That would not change no matter how much he yelled at it. Even still, Inagai, without realizing that, continued yelling into the receiver for a while. The drawer was still open. On top of the folders crammed into the drawer, it lay there. The Shiki, Inagai, written in plain lettering on a grade schooler's name tag, just laying there. Enshrined there, completely out of place, as if it were cowering. Story is a work of fiction. So the prologue is over. Apparently. Back to 1983 with us. Oh, do we get to see this again? You know, I didn't mute the background music. But we don't need to see that again. And now we have no idea when or where we are. I'm just going to assume we're back in 1983. Because that's how this works, I'm willing to bet. With someone named Yuki. Do you remember Yuki? This picture. This is where I first proposed to you. That brief moment before you nodded back, you probably wouldn't know just how much it seemed like an eternity to me. Yes, I would have never thought that amount of time could feel like an eternity. Compared to how long I had to wait for you to propose to me, it was... from the moment I met you until today. Compared to the time I've spent since I was born, it might only be a brief period, but There were definitely precious, beautiful days that deserved to be called an eternity. That time continues even now. From now on, I wonder if it'll be a boy or maybe a girl. Either one is fine. Boy or girl, either way it's living proof that we love each other. If it's a boy, we'll name it after you, Mamoru. If it's a girl, we'll put the Yuki from my name in hers. Thinking about names is so fun that in the end, we still haven't decided yet. There's still time to puzzle over it. Not that long of a time, actually. You see, Yuki, there's something I have to apologize for today. It's my job. Sorry. It looks like an annoying bit of work has come up. In the worst case, I might not be able to be there for delivery. It's fine. You have a very important job. What you do protects the way we live. And where are the voiceovers for this? Oh, I've still got some volume on sound and all that. Okay. Compared to you, it's nothing. Why isn't this direct dialogue? It's people. It's apparently two people talking. I mean, I know no quotes and all, but it's two people talking. Please, go ahead. When you return, I'll be waiting here with our child. Thank you. Also, I'm sorry. Please don't apologize. If you feel guilty about it, then you can just atone. If I atone that much, no matter how much money I have, it won't be enough. Hee hee. It's a joke. Now, go on. As I left the room, I bumped into an elderly man. It was Yuki's father. In other words, my father-in-law.
お父さん、
There we go.
邪魔する気はなかったからな。
Stepfather makes us creepy, guy. Let's continue with father-in-law, huh?
廊下で待たせてもらったよ。聞き耳を立てるつもりはなかったが、聞こえてしまった。生きたまえ。ユキエはああいう娘だ。何があっても自分が君の枷になることを望むまい。
私はこれまでユキエにさまざまな犠牲を強いてきました。出産という人生の節目にまで彼女に犠牲を強いることを恥じます。
君が本当にそう思うなら、仕事が終わったらユキエのために時間を割きなさい。君が仕事を投げ出して付き添ってくれるよりも、そうした方がきっとユキエも喜ぶだろう。
ありがとうございます。
君がとても大切な仕事をしていることは私もよく知っている。自分の仕事を誇りに思いなさい。ユキエは君が見事難題を解決して凱旋するのを楽しみにしている。
はい。
Yeah, I hate that bit of just about any type of culture where men are kind of forced to miss, spending time with the kids shortly after birth. Yeah, you gotta be a man. It kind of makes me sick, really. I jumped into the taxi that was waiting outside. Compared to the time when I first got there, the numbers on the fare meter had grown considerably. It seemed the modest time Yuki and I had spent together wasn't so modest from an objective point of view.
待たせてすみません。やってください。
いえいえ。では参りますよ。
The taxi jerked as it changed gears to accelerate, soon burying the hospital my wife was in behind a throng of buildings. If it was to end up as a really troublesome ordeal, I probably wouldn't be returning for quite some time. To call a rookie like me, and on top of that, one who's off duty, it seemed that the second chief was calling for all hands on deck. The veteran upper brass gathering on an emergency basis happened occasionally. This was the first time, though, that I experienced everybody gathering together like this. Whatever was happening, there was no doubt it was going to be something novel. Right when my wife was ready to give birth. If I wanted to spend the time to curse my misfortunes, I'd be here all day. Even the verdant ginkgo trees lining the street that always brightened my mood seemed to lack some of their usual luster. Eventually, the government office came into view. Briefly holding my breath, I let the feelings of tension course through my body once again. I had to remember the work I was doing was important, necessary, and difficult. I composed myself and sharpened my wit. Ready. The taxi stopped in front of the building. Kasumigaseke Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department.
全員揃いました。赤坂君、ブラインドを下ろしてくれる？
If the blinds were usually closed when they need to use the projector, or if the discussion was going to contain some particularly disturbing content. The blinds closed at the satisfying sound, darkening the interior of the room. Immediately, the inside of the room was completely drained of the pleasant morning atmosphere, leaving behind only the cold illumination of the fluorescent lighting. After the supervisor ensured that everyone was present, he nodded to the second chief once again. With everybody on the edge of their seats, the chief stood up solemnly and began to give his report.
推定48時間前、建設大臣の孫にあたる建設省幹部の子息が誘拐された模様です。建設大臣は事態を穏便に済ませるため、警察へ通報せず要求に応じるものと思われます。
It seemed that approximately 48 hours earlier, the Minister of Construction's grandson and those of his senior staff members were kidnapped. Gee, I wonder who's behind this. The reason why it was phrased that way is because the person in question didn't admit it had happened.
大臣宅の通話を監視した結果、都外からと思われる不審な電話が数件確認されました。 誘拐された子供は病気療養中となっているが、通院の形跡はなく、周辺での目撃例もなく、その他いくつかの理由から事件発生は間違いないものと断定しました。
Here, they admitted the details that brought this incident to light. If you think about it a bit, that meant before this incident happened, the minister's residence had been under surveillance already. I won't use the word spied upon. Of course, there wouldn't have been any court approval for this, and it would have been very hard to explain to ordinary citizens. However, it was quite an effective method to catch wind of incidents like this before they got worse. I'd like for you to understand that dealing with these cases before they become a problem is the job of the Public Safety Division.
なぜ警察に通報せず要求を鵜呑みに？
大臣たる者が警察を信用できないってんだから、世も末だね。
犯人グループは誘拐初期に自分たちが大臣の生活をかなり高度に監視していることを警告し、その証拠を示した様子です。大臣が屈服し、警察への通報も思いとどまるほどの何かですね。
警察へ通報してもすぐにわかるぞって？
大臣の近辺に内通者がいる可能性か。
Thank you very much for the follow, Jeckert. I believe I know who that is. I have a funny feeling I might know who that is. Just possibly. I need to bring this up. Then again, maybe not. there's always a possibility it's someone completely unrelated to a person I know that goes by Jeckert, so we will see. Several of the higher-ranking members who seem to have experience with this kind of thing let out deep sighs.
犯人グループの目的が要求にあるのか、事件そのものにあるのかは不明ですが、いずれにせよ、国益を脅かす事態に発展する可能性が極めて高い。
So I mean, it's kind of obvious what happened, right? This kidnapping was done to stop the dam project from happening. We kind of realize that, right? I mean, I'm not the only one. Probably, I hope not. If their goal was simply to have their demands met for monetary gain, that would have been nice. However, if this was some politically motivated shakeup, things would get a lot more complicated. Yeah, I wonder who could have pulled off such a thing.
被害者の協力がないということは、脅迫内容も要求も一切不明ということか。
本件は内通者の水準がかなり高いと思われるため、当室のみの極秘捜査とします。また本件は本日より最優先事項となり、これまでの通常業務を一時凍結して対応します。よろしいですね。
After that, the supervisor continued on, tactfully explaining our course of action. If this incident were to become public, it was possible that the minister's political life would be over. I'll spare you the explanation of how the rest of the dominoes would fall, but in the end, support in the Diet would decline, followed by a no-confidence vote in a snap election, and it might even expand communist influences. Damn Reds everywhere! In other words, we wanted to handle this delicately.
川崎と佐伯は大臣宅子供宅の通話を24時間監視。大臣の動向を探れ。動きがあるたびに逐一報告せよ。残る各職員は担当団体ごとに本件との関連を調査。最近動きが不穏な特殊ラインは集中的にやれ。
Yep, those damn Reds! Wolverine!
それから外国勢力も水を漏らすな。
I've experienced one or two unamicable situations before. This, however, was the first time I've seen things get so hectic. Several sophisticated conversations were progressing without the involvement with a rookie like me. I didn't intend to be timid, but I couldn't hide my confusion at this unfamiliar situation.
では、柿内に行ってくれ。で、赤坂君は。
I snapped back to alertness upon hearing my name called.
はい。赤坂君は大臣に陳情してきた環境保護団体関連を調査してくれ。中でも新聞でも騒ぎになってるひなみ沢ダム建設反対の団体をよく調査すること。
Boy, did you get the unlucky draw.
住民団体の仕業とは到底思えないが、すべての可能性を潰していかなくてはならない。
わかりました。
Oh good, he actually has to go to Hinamizawa.
ひなみ沢ダム反対か。
直接現地へ行った方がいいだろう。
That looks like we're going there.
現地県警で情報を取れ。かなり過激な団体らしく、向こうの公安でもマークしてるらしいぞ。
わかりました。現地へ出向します。
奥さん、出産控えてるんだって？こんなタイミングで申し訳ないけど、協力頼むよ。時間がかけられないから、人海戦術で総当たりで行くしかないんだ。
ええ、わかってます。家内も自分の都合が私の仕事に触ることを嫌いますから。
Childbirth. Only the woman circumstance. Only.
すまん。ありがとう。それから、川崎くん、佐伯くん、君たちの応援には。
I didn't want to take a business trip when my wife was about to give birth. Even if I was a little busy, as long as I was in Tokyo, I could head to the hospital right away. On assignment, though, that would be difficult. Yeah, I imagine that phone booth is going to see more of Osaka than any one person wants to. Or even more than one phone booth would want to. Even so, I knew the work I was doing was important, and fully understood that I was in no position to be so selfish. I'd have to make it up to my wife for having to be away at such an important time. You know, I kind of wonder, what if this is Coach? What if this is Coach, 5-6 years before the events that we saw in Chapter 3? It's a weird thought. My wife, Yuki, would probably forgive me with a smile. The only thing she could hate doing would be holding me back. My male ego, though, at least wished she would have tried to stop me. Sorry, Yuki. I don't mind if you always complain to our child that their father couldn't come to the hospital when they were born because he was too busy with work. The next day I took the bullet train to Nagoya, and from there transferred to the train to XX Prefecture. Getting to my destination by land took several hours. If I was traveling by air, in that amount of time I'd probably get as far as Hong Kong. XX Prefecture was by no means close. I never sat in first class except for work, but whenever I did, the seats seemed stiff. Closing my eyes, I mentally reviewed the documents I read yesterday. The group under investigation, the Onagafuchi Defense Alliance. They were a group of residents opposed to the development proposed under the Hinamizawa Dam project. The local protests were quite heated and were getting more radicalized. Even limited to what was written in the newspapers, there was bloodshed that occurred during a clash with riot police, interference with the dam construction, too many to count. The number of petitions, sit-ins, and direct appeals to the relevant organizations were innumerable. Yeah, ain't that a brilliant name for the group? Onagafuchi Defense. Ugh. As an extension of that, there was a direct appeal to the Minister of Construction the other day.
これがそもそも今回この団体を調査することになったゆえんだ。
The land that they lived on was going to be submerged, so it was no wonder they would go into a frenzy over it. Even given that, though, could they really be capable of doing something like kidnapping the Minister of Construction's grandson in order to halt the project? For my take on it, I had serious doubts. The kidnapping plot was extremely sophisticated, and complicated enough that it was believed there was some political backing. This wasn't something that could be pulled off by some group of local protesters. Nope, just like the chief said, the plan was to eliminate all possibilities. While I'm in the XX's police's reference room, taking my time investigating, the higher-ups in Tokyo would probably solve the case. I'm pretty sure we're never seeing the minister's grandson again. Without my involvement entirely. Even if that was true, I couldn't regret being away from Tokyo while my wife was ready to give birth. This was work. There was really nothing that I could do. Ding dong. The announcement that we'd be arriving at our destination soon snapped me back to wakefulness. Gogura, XX Prefecture, Prefectural Public Safety Division.
鬼ヶ淵死守同盟ですか。
ええ、地元ではかなり賑わせているようです。
The Prefectural Public Safety Department already had the documents and a cup of tea ready and waiting for me.
早い話がダム反対の住民運動なんですが、事実上水没地域の住民すべてが決起したと言っていいでしょうね。死守なんて古風な言い方が示す通り、相当の決意と覚悟を持った連中です。そこら辺の温和な住民団体とは一線を画すと思っていただいた方がいいですね。
The stack of papers they had prepared for me in the document room was by no means thin.
発足当初はごくごく平均的な住民運動だったんです。それがいつだかの流血事件を境に急にヒートアップしまして。
Yeah, what was that? Man, I don't know if you've seen Agretsuko yet, but there's like one character that is a suck up to the boss. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm imagining there.
今では暴力主義団体かそれに準じるくらいの過激な勢力に成長したと言えますね。
Okay, music.
Oni 具体的。
初期の頃、
Dang it.
いや、あれ
The hell?
最初に狙わでも殺人ならいざ知らず、透析で額を切った殴られてあざができた程度だと仮に犯人を特定できたとしても
What the hell? That was different. It won't take me long to get back to that spot, but I don't know what happened there. Hang on. Okay, I was doing that correctly, but for whatever reason it just decided to do that. This game's haunted. This game is haunted. Speed running.
もしもしもしもしまた。
あんたが犬飼大臣じゃないな。あんた。
Well, the problem is, if I didn't skip the unread, I thought I had that turned off.
これはおいもしもし
See, the thing is, I thought I had that turned off. It turned on somehow. I could have sworn I had that turned off, so it shouldn't have allowed that to happen, but it did.
では参りますよ。赤坂君、ブラインドを下ろして。
建設その他いくつかの理由からいずれよろしいですね。それから
川崎君、佐伯君、君たちの応援には。
これがそもそも今回
鬼ヶ淵死守同盟。
Okay, this is about the right spot.
ええ、地元ではかなり賑わせているようです。
Okay, the Prefectural Public Safety Department already had the documents and a cup of tea ready and waiting for me.
早い話がダム反対の住民運動なんですが。
I was just increasing the voice volume because I thought we needed to, but apparently it was at max and something happened.
事実上、水没地域の住民すべてが決起したと言っていいでしょうね。死臭なんて古風な言い方が示す通り、相当の決意と覚悟を持った連中です。そこら辺の温和な住民団体とは一線を画すと思っていただいた方がいいですね。
The sack of papers they'd prepared for me in the document room was by no means thin.
発足当初はごくごく平均的な住民運動だったんです。それがいつだかの流血事件を境に急にヒートアップしまして。
Yeah, in the village.
今では暴力主義団体かそれに準じるくらいの過激な勢力に成長したと言えますね。
Violent organizations usually indicate ones that enforce their own ideology without regards to the democratic process. Breaking that down, many of those organizations held extreme left revolutionary ideologies. Considering that, I couldn't help but be surprised that the citizens group would end up going that far. Radical citizens movements happen occasionally. It seemed, however, that this group was nothing as trifling as that. It seemed that I would have to reconsider exactly what this Onagafuchi Defense Alliance was.
鬼ヶ淵死守同盟が要求。つまり、ダム計画の撤回を求めるために行いうる活動範囲はどの程度でしょうか。
The kidnapping of the minister's grandson was classified. That meant, of course, I couldn't tell the Double X Prefectural Department about it either.
ご存知の通り、先週あった犬飼建設大臣への直訴事件では逮捕者も出ています。危険性は十分にありますね。
I skimmed over the list of criminal records related to the Onagafuchi Defense Alliance recorded into documents. The contents were all violent, not giving me the barest hint of a feeling that these people were trying to uphold the law.
具体的に教えていただけますか。
The chief opened up a manila envelope, fished out several unorganized sheets, and spread them on the desk.
建設現場への襲撃事件が最も多かったですね。初期の頃、電源コードの切断や錠前の鍵穴に石を詰める、投石による事務所の窓ガラス割り等の軽犯罪が頻発していました。
Of course, what really happened first were things like demonstrations, sit-ins, and distribution of pamphlets. Lively but democratic forms of protests. However, then the demonstrators and police clashed, which started a riot leading to numerous injuries and arrest. It was from then on that the Onagafuchi Defense Alliance, like their name implied, began to take a more demonic form of resistance. Well, at least he does realize that Onagafuchi has something to do with actual demons.
襲撃が度重なれば、地元警察による警備強化がなされるのでは。
それは警戒はしたでしょうね。でもあちらは地元ですから。闇に乗じて忍び込まれたらお手上げでしょう。
You might as well label the entire map of Hinamizawa village around the damn construction site enemy territory. No matter how alert the police were, the locals would just show them exactly how easy it was to sneak around.
警察が警備を固めてからは、むしろ挑発されたように過激化が進みました。ほら、この辺りからだいぶヒートアップしてるのがお分かりになります？
事務所の放火。 建設重機の破壊工作。破壊？まさか爆弾でも？
いや、まさか。連中ですね。タンクに角砂糖を放り込むんですよ。
Pretty standard tactic to take out automobiles.
あれやられたらエンジン焦げついちゃいますから。
Yeah, burning sugar doesn't do good things for pistons. We'll just say that. Even in Japan, it seemed there have been people doing that to the vehicles of occupying forces right after the war. Compared to misdemeanors like breaking windows, it was extremely violent and aggressive. It's non-violent. Stopping the machinery is pretty freaking non-violent if you're doing it with sugar cubes. I'm just saying, there are violent ways to shut down machinery. There are very violent ways to shut down machinery. Doing it up in what would be the most destructive to the vehicle but wouldn't harm a person, because all it does is seize the engine up. That's non-violent. That's the definition of non-violence.
そこまでやられたら地元警察の面目は丸つぶれですね。
放火はさすがにですね。
The fire, on the other hand, violent, but putting sugar cubes in gas tanks, no, that's non-violence, guys.
それで地元警察が24時間体制の人員を大幅に増員しまして、それで建設現場への襲撃は一段落したようです。
Yeah, I don't think they care. This is true. He used the words quieted down, but that was still smack dab in the middle of the list of crimes.
で、連中ですね。現場への直接攻撃が難しくなったとしたら、今度は個人攻撃に切り替えました。最初に狙われたのが工事事務所の現場作業者でした。
After that, there was silence. What was being described to me was a guerrilla war fought in the jungle. Threats and violence against the workers. Harsh words and harsher rocks were thrown.
かなりの告訴がされているのに逮捕者があまり出ていませんね。
そりゃそうです。第一、目撃者なんかいないんですから。それどころか現行犯だったにしたってアリバイがポンポンポンとできちゃうんです。
それはどういうことですか？
例えばですね、あなたがひなみ沢で歩いていて、ある男にナイフで刺されたとします。
This is a hell of an example.
あなたは相手をよく覚えていて、名前も住所も特定できてるとします。ただし、ナイフには指紋がなく、物的証拠だけがない。まあ、ありがちな傷害事件だと思うでしょ。でも、ひなみ沢じゃ完全犯罪なんです。
Everybody is. The entire village. They're all in on it. To protect the man who is the perpetrator, they'll get their stories straight and prepare an alibi. In that end, they'll probably even forge some evidence.
裁判にもつれ込ますほかないわけですが、何しろ物的証拠はない上、犯人を隠匿する証言だけは後から増えていく。検察も書類送検には二の足を踏むわけです。殺人ならいざ知らず、投石で額を切った、殴られてあざができた程度だと、仮に犯人を特定できたとしても、嫌疑不十分で送検されないことがほとんどです。
Every case is without a doubt perpetrated by someone in Himazawa, but they can't identify who. Even if they could figure out who it is, they're unable to obtain enough circumstantial evidence through due process. The villagers were all extremely well informed about this, and so the malicious, vicious, and tenacious personal attacks continued.
被害者はそれでは納得できないでしょう。検察審査会に再審請求を出さないのですか？
それはですね、審査員たちがみんな厄介ごとに巻き込まれたくないと思っているからですよ。ひなみ沢関係のトラブルには首を突っ込みたがらないんです。
The inquest committee is comprised of a random selection of local residents. In the event a prosecutor fails to get a conviction, they have the power to order a retrial. It's a system designed to assert the will of the people on the actions of expert prosecutors in the legal world. In this case, however, being composed of local residents has backfired.
首を突っ込みたがらない。それはなぜです？
なんて説明すればいいんでしょう。恐れられているって言えばいいのかな。あそこはね、少し特殊なんです。
特殊？何か政治的なバックボーンが存在するということですか？
いえ、そういうのとは少し違うというか、まあ怖がられていると思ってください。この辺りは口では少し説明しにくいんです。ああ、そうだ。わかりやすいのがありました。
Wiping his forehead with the handkerchief, he opened a file labeled as a list of members on the Onagafuchi Defense Alliance.
鬼ヶ淵死守同盟の勢力にはですね、近隣の町々に強い影響力を持つ人間が多々おりまして、この辺をご覧いただけますか。
I looked. What I saw startled me. Prefectural and municipal assembly members, staff members of the Chamber of Commerce, an executive of the Business Association, an executive of a Town Council Association of PTA liaison. There were more than a few people with a lot of say both locally and in the neighboring regions.
この界隈では、ひなみ沢のダム反対運動は皆静観しているのが普通なんです。ダムを肯定するような発言をすると、どこでどう巡って不利益を被るかわからない。
You'd be dead.
何しろ近隣の町の喉元は、ひなみ沢出身の人間が抑えていますからね。
検察審査員のリストは非公開でしょう。報復がされないように何らかの措置が取られているはずでは。
一応非公開でプライバシーは守られてますがね。それを管理してるのは沖宮市役所の人間、つまり地元の人間なんです。
Yeah, you'd probably want to give up on the dam. That would be the smart move here.
守秘義務があるとはいえ、やはり人間のつながりは分かりませんからね。
Yeah, what do you want to bet the person's name in charge of all that is Sonozaki?
ひなみ沢の人間はそのあたりのつながりがことのほか強固ですから。
When you consider the obligations and duties people have to the region, the web of information thereby formed is nothing to scoff at. It's not uncommon for housewives in the neighborhood to know which kid from which house is in what grade in which school, what subjects they're good at, and what vegetables they hate, among other things.
それにほら、ひなみ沢と遅縁の深い暴力団組織がありましてね。
And there's the Yakuza.
これが今回の騒動に全面バックアップしてるらしいんです。
Yeah, imagine if they had the internet.
こちらが出てくるのが一番効いてるみたいですね。
暴力団？ダムの建設反対で住民と一致？どういう利害が一致するのか読み難いですね。
それは難しいことじゃないです。実はですね、この暴力団の組長がですね、ひなみ沢村の出身なんです。村の重鎮の一人の婿養子にあたりまして。
Exactly what was this Hinamizawa? A place of regret. It is literally formed from regret. I had thought it was some desolate rustic village. However, for some reason they exerted a strong influence on the surrounding areas and had a strong sense of unity. They would protect their village by any means necessary, even if that meant resorting to violence. The chief had said they were afraid because there were numerous influential people living there. But somehow, I got the feeling that they were afraid of the village itself. There was something clearly different from what I had read in the documents in Tokyo. This was no simple residential protest against the dam. For some reason, an uneasy feeling began to nestle itself at the back of my mind. I chose the most basic way to ask my question. In other words, I directly asked what I wanted to know.
室長、これは例えば仮の話ですが。
はい。
例えばその鬼ヶ淵主導名がダム計画を頓挫させるため、例えば要人を脅迫するようなことは考えられますか？
The chief replied immediately.
ありえるでしょう。事実、彼らは市役所や県庁、建設省の工事事務所にも押しかけ、恫喝まがいのことをしていますし、工事関係者の家族が不審者につけ回されたという事件も起こっています。
Well, that would make sense. To halt progress on the dam, they raided the construction site, destroying heavy machinery and lighting the construction office on fire. If they didn't have any qualms about doing that, threats and violence against people related to the dam would probably be no problem. But that was it. Even your everyday hoodlum could use threats and violence. However, this time it was the kidnapping of the minister's grandson, an abnormally high-level crime. Not only was pulling off the kidnapping difficult in the first place, but so was maneuvering to have the ministers surrender to their demands immediately. There was no way this was the work of amateurs. Did these people have the power to enact this large of a crime? That was the heart of the matter. Was the Onagafuchi Defense Alliance an organization capable of pulling this off? In order to ask that question, once again, I chose the most basic method.
例えば政府要人の関係者を誘拐して脅迫なんてことがあり得ると思いますか？
Yeah, just hypothetically, could they kidnap somebody? There's no way they could pull off something that big. That was the answer I most hoped for. If it was that answer, my work was good as halfway done. I might be able to get back in time for my wife to give birth. That was how it was supposed to be. The chief, without a hint of hesitation, replied,
やるかもしれません。そこの知れない連中ですから。
Wait until the Prime Minister gets involved. Sorry, Yuki. It seemed like my work wouldn't end so simply after all.
おう、赤坂君か。ご苦労さん。担当地域での情報収集はどうですか？
順調です。これから現地警察の公安と接触できることになりましたので、現地へ向かう予定です。東京の調査の方は
Yeah, he needs to run.
他の職員も順調に調査を進めているよ。でも調べる団体が星の数だからね。そんなに悠長に時間もかけられないし。
There were no new developments at this time. No matter how suspicious the Onagafuchi Defense Alliance was, if they solved the case in Tokyo, my job was done. It looked like my wishful thinking wouldn't come to pass. Hanging up the phone, I let my gaze drift outside the window to the valley of unfamiliar buildings.
赤坂さん、今お貸しできる車が戻ってきました。ご案内しますので、こちらへどうぞ。
あ、すみません。
He showed me the elevator to the underground parking lot where a battered sedan was waiting for me. That the steering wheel kept drifting to the left was a little concerning, but it would be enough to get me around for a while. My destination was Shishiboni City in Double X Prefecture, an area under the control of the Onagafuchi Defense Alliance. The Okonomiya police station was right on the front lines. Well, we hit a break. Not the chapter break, I don't think, but you know, just a pause.